Hello and welcome to today's data report for Wednesday, January 18th, 2023, with today's pandemic news update. As you know, it has been getting harder and harder to find the data. Most states only update once a week, very few update daily, and data is just getting more and more hidden. Less people are reporting on the data, so it's harder to find. So I figured we would do a little change to our regular pandemic updates and add in some more news. So let's start off here. We're here on my website, datareport.info, where I document things that are going on in the pandemic, COVID positives, deaths, articles, studies, long COVID, other stuff like influenza, avian flu. So let's start off here with the latest COVID positives. And I figure we will go back to the weekend. We learned that Jamie Lee Curtis tested positive, and she was an attendee of the Golden Globe Awards. Then we learned that Lale Moday, who is 59 years old, tested positive. He has been hospitalized for coronavirus. He also had multiple other viruses at the same time and was said at the time to be on oxygen 24/7. I have not seen any updates since. As far as I know, he is still hospitalized. And when you get multiple viruses at once, that's not a good thing. All right, then we learned that a Japanese singer, Soraka, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. Tested positive for coronavirus on Saturday, January 14th. Continuing, we learned that Colin Farrell and Brandon Gleeson tested positive. They both attended the Golden Globe Awards. Then we learned that Michelle Pfeiffer tested positive and she did not attend the Critics' Choice Awards. Continuing on, Jean Smart tested positive, and she had to miss the Critics' Choice Awards and did not get to receive the award that she won in person. Jim Justice, who's the West Virginia governor, tested positive, and what's interesting about his case, he also had a prior infection last year on January 11th, 2022. He did provide an update today saying that his symptoms are mild and he's happy to be vaccinated and boosted. You know, the same case that they always say, and as we know, a lot of them end up having problems down the line post-COVID. Vince Neil tested positive today. He is the coach, Vince Neil is a member of Motley Crue. I'm jumping ahead of myself to another case that we'll talk about. He's a member of Motley Crue. He had to cancel his appearance at Rockland Fest in Key West, Florida. Jerome Powell, who's the Federal Reserve Chairman, he tested positive today, and he is 69 years old. I did try to find if he had a previous case, was not seeing that. Dan Hurley, here we go. He is the coach of the Connecticut basketball team, University of Connecticut, and his assistant coach also tested positive, and he also had a few other members of his staff test positive last week. This is one we're going to continue to watch. It could turn into a full-blown outbreak. Right now it's a mini outbreak. It could turn into a full-blown outbreak where members of the team who may have had contact will test positive. All right, moving on. This is more news. Ron DeSantis of Florida is proposing to put permanent COVID-19 mandates on a ban. In other words, no mandates, no vaccine mandates, no mask mandates, nothing. He wants to fully ban this in Florida. As you know, Ron DeSantis has not been coronavirus friendly when it comes to mandates. He's been pretty much against it, and he hasn't done much to keep his citizens safe from this virus. I mean, they have had one of the higher numbers of deaths. For one, it's because of population. For two, it's because there's a lot of anti-vaccine people down there. There's a lot of people that just could care less, and he doesn't help the cause. Hopefully this does not happen. I'm not really in favor of vaccine mandates at this point, because as we all know, you can still test positive, but in some cases, mask mandates, especially high-quality mask mandates, if it's done correctly, yeah, they are effective, so he is wrong. Moving on here. I did a poll yesterday. Have you lost friendships or relationships with family members because they do not take COVID seriously? Well, 1,866 people voted on this. 82% of people said yes, only 18% said no. So yes, people are losing relationships with family members. People are losing relationships with friends because of them not taking COVID seriously. And this is hard. Maybe some people have had friends for their entire life. They have been friends with someone. Along came the pandemic. The friend has not taken the pandemic seriously, and here we are. They cannot meet up in person because they're refusing to take the proper precautions, and, it's tough. People are not able to see one another because maybe someone's high risk and someone they were friends with all their life are not taking it seriously, and it puts them at risk, and they just can't agree on things, and unfortunately friendships end. It does happen. I can say there are people I have not seen since the start of the pandemic simply because they don't take it seriously. Moving on, we learned in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the school district of Philadelphia is going to lift the mask mandate. They had done a 10-day masking period for after the holidays to help keep the cases low. They're stating the reason being for lifting the mandate is it served its purpose and the COVID cases are remaining at steady levels and not rising. If I had my way, I probably would have kept it in place. It'll be interesting to see if the cases start to rise within the school district. We also learned that Dr. David Kressler is going to be stepping down from his position. He was the chief scientist for President Biden's coronavirus vaccine program. Taking a look at the national transmission levels from the CDC, 71.42% of the country is at high transmission. Substantial makes up 14.68% of the cases. Moderate is at 8.72% of the cases. And low is 5.18% of the cases. The majority of the eastern states are in high levels of transmission. The latest variant that is dominating in the United States is the XBB 1.5 variant at 43%. Taking a look at today's hospitalizations. Hospitalizations for today nationally are at 35,855. That is still much lower than they were last week. Part of that's because there's less hospitals reporting, and another part is hospitalizations have been declining somewhat in the country. 77.11% of all beds are being used in this country. 5.63% of them are being used for coronavirus. We did get a weekly update out of Texas today. 36,611 cases in the past week have been confirmed. Probable cases are 25,667, and the hospitalizations in Texas have dropped considerably to 2,837. On a final note, we'll end with the Walgreens positivity. The national Walgreens positivity is 34.6%. That is down by 3.7%. Alrighty. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy this new format where we add a little bit of the news combined with the data. And we will have another one of these updates tomorrow. This is going to be at least maybe every day, if not every other day, as news and data comes out. So we're going to try and do this more frequently. Stay safe, everyone, and thank you for watching this video. And remember to hit the like and subscribe button down below. See you next time.